Hey you guys, welcome back to Angel Angela. So on this topic, I'm going to talk about narcissists and animals. Narcissists and animals, you guys. So I just got done talking to you guys on the last podcast video on, the narcissist animalistic nature. If you guys haven't seen that one, I will put the link below. But since we're just talking on the subject, I wanted to kind of keep it, keep it on the same side, on the animalistic nature of the narcissist and how narcissists are with animals. Some narcissists, enjoy animals and some detest animals, but it all has to do for their convenience. See, some people can judge people who cultivate their own food, but at the end of the day, a lot of these people that cultivate their own food, they're grateful for the animals because it's the circle of life, right? So we're continuing the conversation. It's the circle of life. The narcissist knows they're a predator, but they don't care about animals. They eat animals, right? They eat them, they're greedy. They're getting angry at the drive-through. They're ready to throw a cheeseburger at your face because it didn't come out hot enough for them, or you didn't make it the way they wanted it. They don't appreciate food. They don't pray before they eat their food. They don't even know where their food came from. On top of that, they're not praying over their food, and then they're judging cultures and people who actually cultivate their own food and grow their own plants and vegetables, right? So this is why a lot of times when people pray at the dinner table, they're praying over their food, because in some way, shape or form, this is a predator, and you're eating a prey, a animal that is your prey, whether it's chicken, pigs, whatever it is, or even, seafood, whatever it is, but this is why a lot of people pray over their food, because you're grateful, for whatever food you have. And this is why some people, they don't eat animals at all. They feel like, why even if I'm able to have some type of human intelligence to know that I'm not really supposed to eat that much meat, technically speaking, we only have 2 canine teeth, meaning that the meat proportion shouldn't be that large for human beings, but we become greedy as a society. So narcissists have a greedy sense of, way of looking at things, looking at animals, right? They just don't appreciate it. So you have those people that will go completely vegan, and then you have those people that will just pray over their food. They feel like they can't be vegan, right? Which doesn't make you a bad person either, because at the end of the day, it's the circle of life. There's certain animals that don't eat other animals, and there's certain animals that need to eat certain animals to survive. So that's just how I'm gonna break it down right there. Now, when it comes to animals and the narcissist, most of the time the narcissist feels like, just like certain narcissists are racist, right? They feel like it has nothing to do with wanting to stick to your own culture. A racist person is someone who hates someone of another culture based off of an experience or a set of experience that they've had and took it personal, meaning that someone in their own family or social circle can do worse things to them, but they're carrying on things from another race because they look different. So they can hate other animals, other people. They consider people that look different from them as a different animal, and they can have a deep hate for that person, that group, right, as a whole. So that's where that narcissism comes in, that ultimate hate. You don't have to hate that person. You know what I'm saying? Animals don't necessarily hate each other, but they need to survive, and there's a hunger in them, right? Just like certain racist people, there's a hunger in them, and they might even just be jealous of you, or jealous of the qualities about you, or they might feel like they're intimidated by you, so now they have to pretend like they're not intimidated by you. So there could be so many different reasons, but that's that narcissism, that anger, that hate, that need to fight, you know, like I spoke about with narcissists and their animalistic nature. So there's a sense of intelligence that human beings have. The narcissist is well aware of their animalistic nature, and to them, when they think about animals, they are either going to detest them because they feel like, I can't communicate with you, or I don't have the patience to teach you anything, because to them it's like a human being, you know. And some of them feel like they're less than a human being. They feel like, as a human being, I have a higher sense of intelligence than you as an animal, so I can possibly outsmart you, or I can outsmart you just because you don't know who you are. You don't know where you come from. You're lost in the sauce, you know. So they get a sense of power in knowing that. And certain animals are actually pretty smart, you know. Some of them don't, you know, some of them, you know, just, they hatch from their egg and they already have a sense of, hey, I'm a prey. Hey, they have a certain type of intelligence that was passed down from their parents, of just knowing information. So it's like having a pet that knows it's not supposed to be there, and it has a sense of intelligence, or it can listen to other animals, you know, other dogs in the area, and you can hear them barking, and they can all bark at the same time because there's a sense of communication, and they're communicating with each other and keeping each other in the loop. So the narcissist feels like, if I'm going to have a dog, my dog is going to be inside and they're going to be in my full control. You know, I can't have them associating with other pets. They're going to be my company. I've had them since they were a baby. You know, I'm their mother. You know, they like the obedience, you know, and they like some narcissists, like a lot of them can't be alone. It gives them a sense of comfort, right? They'll even let their dogs sleep in their beds, or they'll have their own, you know, bed in their home, right? Some narcissists, as the ones that I grew up with, hated animals, like detested pets, animals. They don't want feathers or hairs, or just the smell of an animal, keeping up with their maintenance, their poop, all that. It's just detestable to them. It's like, you're not a human being. You're a dirty animal. You're dumb. You're dumb, and I don't want to teach you. And animals are not dumb, but that's how certain narcissists will look at animals, like they're dumb, because they feel like, at the end of the day, I'm smarter than you. They don't care to understand animals. They don't care to study them. They don't care. They'll eat them, and they just don't care. They're just, you know, and sometimes, you know, they'll hate animals, and some of them will even be vegetarian, and you'll think to yourself, oh, they're nice people because they're vegetarian. No, they just probably really detest animals, period, too, you know. So then you got narcissists that will get animals, will get dogs, and they'll just have them in their front yard as a means of protection to them, so that when the dogs start barking, you know, they can hear people coming into their property, right? They're just using the dogs. And a lot of times those type of people will mistreat the dogs. They'll abuse them, or they'll have a lot of them, and they don't even have the finances to feed them, but they don't even care. They'll go days without eating, or they won't give them fresh water, or they just will leave old water, old food there, to them it's like, oh, whenever, if I don't have any money, I don't have any money. Instead of just getting rid of the dog, to them it's all about using the dog as a watcher, someone to watch over their house. It's a job. It's like a job that you're not getting paid for. To them, that's how they view their pets. You could tell they don't really take care of them. You can tell that they don't even take care of their own home. There's some narcissists that, they torture animals. They have fun torturing them, or if they see a wounded animal, they're just like, instead of trying to nourish you back to health, it's like a human being. When you're sick or something, and you can't expect the narcissist, depending on what type of narcissist and the connection you have to them, you can't expect them to nurse you back to health. When you're actually sick, they want to destroy you even more, right? It's like it's almost like they just want to put the pillow over your head and say, I'm going to make it easier for you. It's almost like they're fighting to kill. Like I said, certain narcissists have animalistic nature where they're fighting to kill. So you're going to have, certain narcissists that they were having fun killing animals. They started killing them young, and they were dissecting them, and they were studying them, and they were studying how certain animals wanted nothing to do with them. But then there were certain animals and pets that people have at home who are well trained. So they're like, oh, this isn't normal. This isn't normal. So now they don't have respect for humans or animals. And sometimes they'll treat human beings like animals. There's certain psychopaths that will put you in a cage, lock you up, treat you just like an animal, feed you peanut butter, chocolate, give you a treat for Christmas, give you a little beef jerky, So the narcissist looks at people and animals as the same sometimes. Sometimes they look at people like there's no difference between people and animals, so they won't like animals and they won't like people, but they will use animals just like they use people for comfort, for shelter, for food, for not being alone, for commanding, for controlling. So there's almost like the same expectations that they have about people, they'll have them with humans. Just like they feel like I don't like human beings, they could feel like I don't like animals. I don't like women, but I don't like anybody, I don't like people, or I don't like women, but I'll have sex with them. I don't like people, I don't like women, but I'll have sex with them. I really like men. Or I pretend like I like men. Or the man thinks that I'm really gay, but I'm not really gay. I don't really go both ways. I just use sex as a tool. Neither one matters to me because I don't really care about people. The more diabolical that predator is, the less they care about people or children. It's just an animal. It doesn't care who it sleeps with, who it uses, who it has control over, who it fights with. It's animalistic. It has no morals. It cannot be tamed. It cannot be taught anymore. They're stuck in their ways. It's like having an animal that just wasn't trained. There's nothing you can do. Or it's like having an animal who is conscious of everything, conscious of, they went from one owner to another and it wants to go back to its owner, it wants to go back to its mother, but it can't. and then you adopt it, and you're like, oh, I'm just gonna keep giving this dog love until it's not vicious. And the more love you give that animal, the more vicious it becomes. It's like, I don't want to be loved by you. I want my mom. I want my family. It knows, it's not dumb. It knows something's wrong. And it's just, it might not ever be the same. So to the narcissist, they look at animals a lot like themselves, like people. And then they feel like, well, I don't really look at people that way, and I don't really look at animals that way. They're just used as tools. Animals are used as tools. So certain narcissists actually can treat their pets very well. Certain narcissists can go into the business of breeding animals, breeding horses, breeding, chickens, breeding dogs, breeding fishes. That some of them like doing that because they're studying them. They're studying the animals. They're studying the pets. They're breeding. They're like, okay, you're fighting with I gotta separate you from the female because you guys are fighting too much. And then I'm gonna let you, and then once you guys get mad at me because I separated you guys, I'm gonna bring you guys back together, because now you guys are gonna be calm, and you're just gonna want each other's company for survival. You're gonna want each other's company for survival. So I'll bring you guys back together. And if you guys start fighting again, or you guys get to a point where you guys are just fighting all the time, then that means that the female dog, I'm gonna breed her one more time, and then when I breed her another time, she might not be capable of breeding anymore. Her body is worn out. Or I'm just gonna let her loose. I'm gonna let her run away, and I'm just gonna get you a new dog. Or I'm gonna wait for one of the female dogs to get older, and I'm gonna breed you with your own daughter. And let's see how that, they like to use people as tools. They like to move people around. And it's the same thing when it comes to animals, So now they'll breed certain animals, they'll breed, the dogs with their own infants, or they'll breed the siblings with each other. And to them, it's like, who cares? I'm going to sell you. It's all a money scheme. It's a money grab, right? They don't care. They're breeding, they're experimenting, it intrigues them what they can do. They feel like God. They feel like God. Look at my little babies. Look at my pups. Look at my little puppies. Look at them. You're sitting there mesmerized. Oh, your dog had puppies. Oh, you don't know, this person is like, yeah, I'm about to breed these. I'm about to make money. I'm about to breed these siblings with each other. The dad is probably going to be raping the kids. It's fine. They're watching, they're studying animals. They're breeding them. They're breeders. They're breeders, right? And they look at relationships the same way. The women they get with, they feel like, I'm just breeding you. I'm having babies with you. Once you have kids, that's it. Just like the dog, they feel like, oh, look, your body's not going to be the same. You're going to have some loose skin. And to them, it's like, okay, certain animals, certain, narcissistic predators, they go after women with children. They feel like, oh, you've already had children. I'm going to target you. I'm going to get supply from you. I might have a kid with you. You might have, you still got it. You still got it going on. I can still mate with you. But they don't care about the children you had prior to. Some animals actually go into some animals want to mate with the opposite sex, but the opposite sex already has children, but the father is gone. So now if that animal wants to mate with you, it's going to have to kill your children so that it can have their own children. They don't want you to have children with other animal from a prior, supply or prior partner. So there's certain animals who will kill your offspring so that they can mate with you. So this is why then you have narcissists who get with women who have children and they're preying and raping your children and doing weird shit. And then at the same time, they're trying to have kids with you and they're having sick fantasies about you and your children. And they're nasty predators, because narcissists are like animals. So some of them like animals, they study animals, they breed animals, they breed women themselves. They breed women themselves. Some of them are in cults. Some of them are in cults and they're having children with multiple women. And then those women are breeding their children. They're breeding the women. They got control over the women. Then when the women, all their wives have children, they're breeding all of their children to meet each other with different mothers. They're breeding with half siblings and stuff. And then they're going out into society playing a role with you, like, oh, look at the nurse and the doctor, they just got married, or look at the stay-at-home mom, and look at this person, look at this couple. And you're seeing the outer appearance of people, and you don't know that these predators, these narcissists, these animalistic people, these people who are no different from animals, who get breeded just like animals. They feel like, if anything, they're a better quality of animals than you, because they feel like, hey, you don't know your heritage. You don't know how far you go. You don't know your great grandparents. You don't know who started this generation. You don't know nothing. They feel like, if anything, they're better than you because they're keeping track of the herd. And then you think that a lot of people out here are who they say they are, and you don't know their family tree and their background. And some of these people know more than they lead on. Then you got some sick, nasty narcissists who like to get intimate with their animals, who like mating with they're like, oh, you're not going to get pregnant. So they're having sexual intercourse with their own animals. And that's facts. I have a friend who's a nurse who she ended up having a patient who came in. He came in the wheelchair with a blanket over his lap, and he had a puppy underneath there. And, when they went into the room, the doctor checked out what was going on, and the guy had his penis stuck inside the dog, and the dog, I guess his muscles had clenched onto him that he couldn't even pull out. He was stuck. And while they were going to fix the problem, while the doctor was going to fix the problem, they called law enforcement for them endangering that dog. And that guy they ended up arresting him at the hospital. And this is a true story. This is a true story. Because narcissists have an animalistic nature to them. So even if they have pets, a part of them hates their pets. Even if they treat their pet and they're spoiled and they, a part of them feels a need to control, or they feel like they get a satisfaction of knowing that you don't know who you are. And then a part of them feels connected to the pet, because it feels like, it feels like, oh, you're in a box, you're being controlled, you're not in your nature, just like me. You know, the narcissist feels like they're not allowed to live out in their nature for who they are and be accepted by society, because who they are in their nature is everything that society, it's the opposite of what society finds acceptable, you know. So the narcissist feels like, you know, they're wearing a mask, and they feel like even if they aren't wearing the mask and they're living in their authentic animalistic nature, they feel like, is this really my nature, or is it something that was just created as well? So to the narcissist, they become more and more delusional, and then they get to a sense of delusion where they basically feel like, well, if nothing is real, if I'm always going to be unsure, that I'm just going to live out my fantasy and live out whatever it is that I'm feeling. Whatever it is that I want to do, I'm just going to do it, whether it hurts people, whether I'm destroying someone, you know. If I have a dog and I'm using it for a tool, and I'm using it just to surveillance my house, then when that dog dies from starvation or unhealthy, or just, you know, just unhealthy circumstances, then I'm just going to replace him, you know. If I have a pet that kills itself, or I have a pet that endangers itself or runs away, I'm just going to replace him or her with someone else, you know. I'm just using you as a companion. So if that dog runs away, or something happens, they're more hurt because they feel like they gotta retrain their dog. They're like, oh, I gotta train them, potty train them, I gotta start all over. It's like raising a kid. It's like being part of the family. It's like having a kid that you trained your kid to be everything you wanted them to be, and then your kid just passes away. So when it comes to narcissists and pets, there's going to be a thin line between, you know, they're using these pets as a tool, or they're using these pets as a need to not be alone, you know. And these are just tools. It's just supply. So animals are supply, just like people. If the narcissist doesn't like animals, detest animals, most likely that narcissist, you know, they also feel like they hate people. They might be a people person, or at least pretend to be a people person, but sometimes, a lot of times, you're going to see that the people that don't like animals, detest animals, and they're narcissists, a lot of times they like to even be alone. They don't like people even, you know. So because it's overwhelming, you know, or they feel like, hey, you know, certain people, they know that certain people are just not going to like them, you know, or like qualities about them. And they know that, you know, they're very predatorial, and that they can't help themselves, you know. So you have narcissists who, you know, treat their pets well, and then you have narcissists who, you know, just do everything against, you know, nature, which is, if they feel like you love your pet, and they know you view your pet like family, right? It's your companion. Your pet is the only thing you have. You look at your pet like family, because you might not have a big family, right? So the narcissist sees that you treat your pet with so much love, like they're a human being. The narcissist will get jealous. Just like certain narcissists get jealous when you treat your own children good, and they're their children too, and they're jealous, they'll get jealous of your pet. I've seen narcissists kill animals. Like, that's like common with certain narcissists. I know a narcissist that killed someone's dog, their neighbor's dog, because they knew that was going to hurt them. I know someone who got into an argument with their wife and then just hit the shit out of a puppy and threw something heavy on its head, and then when the puppy died, they basically said, oh, you know, I just threw the object at the dog. I didn't think they were gonna die. It's like, if you're capable of killing a dog and just snapping their neck off, you're the type of person that will choke the shit out of someone, and then if that person dies, you're gonna be like, oh, I was just choking them, but you know, I didn't think they were gonna die. So then you have certain people that it's not like they don't like animals, it's just that they don't want the responsibility. They don't want to feel like, you know, you're taking them out of their nature, because you know what it feels like to feel like you're not in your nature, and you don't want to be responsible. You almost feel like you're being responsible for someone else's life, so you rather not do that. You rather have nothing to do with that, because you respect animals. You know, you respect animals like you respect people. So you, just like you don't want to get involved with people just to get involved with them, you don't want to get involved with animals just to get involved with them. You don't want to go into their territory and mess with them. And you know, you might eat animals, but it's not you're not hunting them for fun. It's just a way to live, you know. You're not greedy, you know. So and you know, this is what you're going to experience when it comes to narcissists and pets. You know, some of them love them, some of them hate them, some of them will torture you and your pets, you know. So narcissists, you know, will even breed animals as a way of breeding people. They study animals, and then they study people, and then they use the information they learn from animals to control people. So I'm sending you guys lots of love. Be careful with the panda eyes. If you guys enjoyed this video, like, share, comment, subscribe if you guys are new, and if you guys want to book a session with me, my booking information will be on the description. Just give me about 24 hours to respond to you, and as always, I'm sending you guys lots of love, light, peace, and your healing, and I'll talk to you guys on the next one. Love you guys. Bye.